The living room, where the family meets to discuss issues, any issue which may be bothering one of the family members. That's what we do each and every Tuesday on WAC 90.1 FM with Ricardo Mitchell and DJ Aaron 868. We have casual conversations on serious topics, from sports to culture, mental health to economics, relationships to life lessons. Join us each and every Tuesday from 7 to 8 p.m. on WAC 90.1 FM. The Living Room, casual conversations on serious topics.
So it is currently a minute after 6 p.m. because Tony does not stick to put us on. Mm-hmm. It's also time for Ricardo to get a watch. We are like 11 months into the year. 11 months in, Ricardo. Get a watch.
Well, you know what I mean. You could get me one next month for Christmas.
If you don't know the station you're listening to, this is the True Nation station, WACK 90.1, where we are
culture crazy.
All right, so first and foremost, we have to do this. We must kick it off as we always do. Must give thanks and praises to the Almighty for granting us the gift of life and seeing another day. No matter what time of day it is, you must always
give thanks.
Secondly, we must say thank you to those that went before us, and we're not just talking about our ancestors, the original inhabitants of Trinidad and Tobago, because even when we slacken off a little bit, we know and we have come to accept and we reiterate that Columbus lied, but also to our brother in music, Tony Prescott. And the P this week stands for?
Palatuvier.
Where?
Palatuvier.
You there or something? Or?
No, looking like you there?
Yeah, that's actually a place in Tobago. I did not get to visit there during this stay as yet. I don't know if time will permit. And if you don't know, this is lovely Tobago.
Tobago.
Right, we had to make sure and let you all, I can't show you all a tour of Tobago, because I don't know how good my data will be when I hit to some of those far roaming parts. Mm-hmm. But I'm in Tobago and I'm making sure to log in and check in with you inside the living room. This is your truly DJ Aaron 868. I'm always great and I am never late. Alongside my bro with no fro,
Ricardo Mitchell, the baby face sage. At least until my booty grow back.
That beard needs to grow back.
Yeah. Well, it's no shave November, what we doing?
I think, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I need to cut my hair though. Last time I did it without cutting my hair and the bald was showing.
Yeah, but it's no shave November. It's not no dignity. It's not no dignity November.
Today's episode we are planning for it to be pretty light because we have been having some heavy conversations since the middle of August with the Addressing the Violence series and then Mental Health Month. Mm-hmm. So we are going to kick back and, as we start Men's Health Month, which is November, as men, we, Ricardo and I, we are going to do a little check-in today. Maybe, if time permits, I'll tell you all a little bit about the vacation experience and why a vacation was needed. I guess that'll tie into the check-in.
Yeah, correct,
and as well as some little hints about Tobago Carnival.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what is it? The Tomac?
Well, yeah, Rainmac.
Mm-hmm.
So Ricardo, let's kick it off. Before we get into our conversations, we have our first segment for this evening. We'll wipe our hats and hang our feet after. But firstly, we must bring in Willie with a Y.
Pleasant good evening to all loyal listeners. This is The Living Room on WAC Radio 90.1 FM. This is Richard Williams alongside Ricardo and DJ Aaron. And this week, it's being the 1st of November and all, I wanted to touch on prostate cancer in the Caribbean. Now, prostate cancer is one of the leading causes of death amongst Caribbean males. And we have one of the highest rates of infection and diagnosis in the world, with 76 per 100,000 males. Out of that 76, a large percentage are Afro-Caribbean males. I'm not sure if it's the diet or what, but we meaning Afro-Caribbean males, seem to be at a lot higher risk of infection and diagnosis than our male counterparts. So I remember I did or I partook in a men's health fair that was put on by the Ministry of Health. Shout out to Terence Dialsing for that initiative. And this was located at Mount Hope, if I remember correctly. Yes, at Mount Hope, at the Women's Hospital, where they took or received over 1,000 males that day and took us through everything from dental to eye testing to prostate cancer and the like. And we need to address the stigma that tends to go along with prostate cancer. A lot of men don't want to get tested because they think it's invasive and they don't want to expose themselves in that manner. I can give you a personal example on my part. I had an uncle who was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and unfortunately he told no one. None of us in the family. I'm not even sure if any of his children knew. So it was literally, my uncle was here today, and then tomorrow I heard that my uncle passed away, and then to find out that he died from prostate cancer, and none of us were any the wiser. So to the gentlemen out there, I mean, you no longer have to wait till you're over 40. If it's not hereditary or it doesn't run in your family, you can take a simple blood test. However, if it is hereditary and you know that you may be susceptible to diagnosis, then I urge you to go and get tested. 40 and over, go and get tested. Under 40, if you're hereditary, go and get tested. This is something that is treatable. It is not a death sentence. You can cure it. So, men out there, please do the right thing for you and your family. Get tested. Oh, and also wanted to touch on or to remind you all, well, as I said, No Shave November, so you all will get accustomed to this look. I mean, I'll try to keep it as long as possible. I do have a wedding to go to at the end of the month, so I may have to shave and look presentable, but I am there in solidarity with all of you all. So No Shave November, prostate cancer awareness. Let's go. Until next week, this was Willie with a Y.
And Willie does it again. The man has managed to hit a different element of the why now, because normally, he would ask some kind of why questions, but this time he gave us some why motivation.
Nice.
Remember, guys, this is Men's Health Month, and a lot of us either approach or hit the 40 mark. He gave us some excellent tips in terms of the prostate checks and that type of thing. But we got to remember too that the reason we're trying to take care of ourselves is not just for us. Right? We as men have an important role to play in society, so we have a responsibility to make sure that we're here to continue to do so. So I want to thank Willie for starting us off for that sober but very important note. But as we into the health aspect of this thing, I might as well ask you, Aaron, how are you?
That's a real, this time, honestly, it's a very loaded question.
Mm-hmm.
Because for the first time I will ever openly admit on air, I think I did it before, but this time I had to say it again, I was burnt out. I think after the Taste of Carnival, I posted it to social media.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the first time I'm actually saying it on air. I was burnt out. I do have a lot on my plate, and I continue to have a lot on my plate. But up to last week, I just couldn't do it. I didn't have the motivation to do anything. Everything was just routine. I was going through the motions. I'd record living room. I'd do my Saturday shifts. I would plan what I had to plan. I would go to work. The only thing that would change was my workout routine on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. But I was burnt out and I needed a break from reality.
I'm glad that we caught you on vacation and for taking the time out of your vacation to spend a little time with us. It's good to see the palm trees blowing in the breeze. I seen pool water in the background. I seen what look like 1,000 bands on your hands. So that means you get a nice little knockabout this weekend.
We'll talk about that after, but yes, the scenery does help. The change of scenery from the constant four walls of home and the office helps. But really and truly, just as you say, a break from reality. All right.
Yeah.
But before we go further into with me, let's talk about you, Ricardo. How are you?
Yeah, well, let me see how I could do this. Because, I'm not known for my brevity of breeze. First and foremost, I am alive and grateful for it. And grateful for it. When you really watch what's going on outside here, it is easy to get bogged down by the news, by the things that you're seeing around you. You're watching quality of life diminishing, sometimes slowly, sometimes in big strides. But I'm alive, and for the past week, I've not been anywhere near as productive as I like to be, or I feel the need to be. But I was also reminded that the work is in the people too. And I've had some really great conversations over the past couple of weeks that helped me reposition mentally and emotionally. It's good to know. It's good to know that. Actually, now I'm not even going down that road. The fact remains is I was very gently reminded that the work that I'm putting in terms of mental health, in terms of social outreach, in terms of men's health and communication, normalizing male affection and healthy relationships, that type of thing. I was doing a lot of that outwardly, but I wasn't really taking care of my personal space. And I got a very interesting and gentle reminder that the men within my personal space, my friends, my family, they also deserve the attention that I'm asking everybody else to give. So it was a nice reminder that, hey, listen, you could just talk to one person. It don't have to be on platform. It don't have to be a drastic message. You could literally just talk to one person. Let a brother know that he's important to you. Remind a brother that he should be important to himself. That type of thing. So how am I? I'm being very gently recharged and repositioned to continue doing the thing that we do. So I'm in a good place, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
One thing I want to add to Willie's wise, right? Why is inter-island travel so expensive?
Well, the fourth national watchword is being amended, right? They're removing subsidy. What you want again?
No, between Trinidad and Tobago.
Oh, you mean up the road?
Yeah, up the road, yeah.
Cool. That's an economic conversation you're talking about there.
Yeah, we had to really have that conversation because I was checking out to head to St. Kitts. And the cost to go to St. Kitts, I could reach to Miami, book a hotel room, have spending money, and come back home comfortable.
Just to reach. Yeah. Well, interestingly enough, I found out a couple months ago that my grandfather was apparently from St. Kitts, and I had not known that.
And one of your grandparents from Venezuela?
Yeah, my grandmother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my maternal grandmother.
Oh, as Stalin said, you're a Caribbean man.
Apparently.
See what I did there?
I see what you did there. And now I have a second team to back in my little T20s and in my regional.
Yeah, because TKR didn't look good at all this year.
Hey, anyway, you know what? We keep it light.
Yeah, we are. So, as we on the topic of mental health and stuff like that, right? Let me address the elephant in the room here with something. Persons expect us as DJs and entertainers and things like that to always be at our best. And this weekend, I touched base with a lot of my friends in the entertainment industry while across here, and a lot of them said that the break of either getting to come across here and not work, or being in a different environment was enlightening for them, and it was relaxing. So, guys, if you know entertainers, you know any DJs, you know social media influencers or persons that blog a lot, check in with them and make sure that they are okay. because to constantly be producing content to make joy for you or to inform you of something, it takes a lot out of them. So you can't always expect it. Sometimes they need a little break as well. So check in with them, ask them, not where's the scene, not where's the just physicist. How are you? Be intentional in the questions, because you never know what someone is going through or putting on that smiling face to entertain you.
Correct is right. Interestingly enough, after last week's episode, when Alana, Nurse Jordan, when she brought us up to speed as to senior care and what it takes, I went and checked the old boy. I went and checked Pops. Right, we sit down, we drink a little coffee. Right?
Nice.
He
Coffee.
Yeah.
Right.
He gave me a shirt. Right, but here the funny thing about this shirt, right? It's a real nice shirt, you know. I say cool. When I reach home, I try on the shirt, but the shirt just a size too small. So I nearly couldn't come out the shirt. I nearly couldn't come out the shirt. It was even at home alone now, and I tried to find my way out of the shirt. I'm thinking, well, it's either it rip or I sleep in it. But it was just nice to check in with him, spend a little time too. And one of the reasons his shirt was too small is I want to tip my hat to Richard Williams, aka Willie with a Y, because he started a little challenge online, a little wellness challenge. So that every day you do a little bit of exercise and you check in with the group to let them know that you did it. And the funny story, I started this challenge the week before I went on the hike. Remember the hike that fooled me up properly?
Yeah, because we could never figure that hike.
Yeah. So I started the challenge that week. Went on the hike, and the hike was a real nice indicator of my lack of fitness. And to some degree, my mental fortitude. And since then, it has been over 50-something days of continuous exercise and check-ins. Nice. And the accountability has helped with my fortitude and my discipline, right? But the workout's helping too in terms of, that's one of the reasons this shirt can't fit. Because I gain back the frame now.
Right.
The funny thing about it is that community helped me with something very personal. And it started to reflect itself in other ways. As simple as it is, I get a nice shirt that I can't wear because I take chain up from Willie. But it's a positive indicator and a positive direction for my health going forward. That I'm exercising regularly. And not because I'm exercising regularly, I'm watching how I'm eating. Because I'm watching how I'm eating, my body's starting to look and feel differently. So, my energy and my confidence levels and that type of thing in a gear. Right? And a marker of that was not being able to fit into a shirt that I get when I went and checked the old man, because Alana talked to us about how important senior care is. What I mean is, it's all different things, but they kind of work together. So it's important that we don't neglect community, because we don't know what input community have in terms of how we progress now. Right? So to hear you and see you poolside, palm trees blowing in the breeze in Tobago, and even in that you take the time to ground off with your community outside of work, that healthy too. So coming out of that, anything happened to you this weekend that hit you a little lights on, one of those epiphany moments?
I think that epiphany moment was on Saturday morning, right? While walking through the Juve in Crown Point that needs to move from Crown Point because logistically it is too small. A gentleman walked up to me, actually two, and I'll talk about these two interactions. One of them walked up to me and said, "Young boy." I felt happy he called me young boy.
Right.
And I was like, "Yes, sir." He was like, "Now don't call me sir. I had to call you sir." He was like, "Because for a man of your age, you just show up some of them older DJs sometimes." I was like, "Let don't go down that road now. Let don't go down that road."
Right.
I said, "Just if you want to compliment me on my talent, compliment me. Don't put anyone else down." He was like, "Nah." He said, "I have to say it." He said, "Because a lot of the younger DJs, they're so focused on themselves and the talking that they don't let the music do the work for them." he said he used to listen on a Saturday, and now he tunes in on a Friday night when I'm on, because he says the music does the talking for me. And he says he appreciates that I don't go on there to talk.
Yeah.
Right. And for me, that reinforced the fact that people listening, that it have people that enjoy it. And even when I might not think I put out the best for me, persons still appreciate it. And for those that know me very well, I'm a tad bit of a perfectionist when it comes to my music. I will record a mix 15 times just to get one thing right. But to hear, even with the mistakes that is happening on air, somebody saying that they are impressed and they appreciate what I do, it made me feel rejuvenated to get back into it. Right?
I could attest to the fact that after Aaron runs his mixes through his rigorous testing process, he will send it to me because he know if he get 98 out of 100, I go circle the 2 marks with a red ink pen. But as you say that, Aaron, I want to use that to emphasize a very important point, especially for the men out here. It's for everybody, but I'm saying it for the men because we tend to be under a kind of criticism. We don't get the allowances for being human because we expect it to be men, right? The pursuit of perfection is the enemy of excellence. And I'm saying that again. The pursuit of perfection is the enemy of excellence. Right? Sometimes you might spend $1 trying to make sure the 10 cents perfect. That ain't no kind of maths. Right? At the end of the day, sometimes your best is enough.
Yeah.
Right? So just a reminder to not. We had to give ourselves. We should give ourselves a little grace as well too.
You know, you see the memes and the posts and stuff talking about progress looks like this, or progress looks like this, or progress looks like. Progress has its own process for everybody. So whatever your process is going through, whatever part of your process you're at, embrace it. And every time you take a level up, I'm not saying stop and do a whole concert, but give yourself a clap for making that level up. And I myself have to learn that.
Yeah.
Right? The second interaction that I had this weekend was with a young lady who watches the living room every week. And she said to me that the mental health month episodes that we went through were some excellent episodes, especially the end of September into October when we had France. She said it was excellent. She's like, because for 3 men to sit and have a conversation about suicide without any geep, without any laugh, but to have a genuine conversation with each other about something as serious as suicide was enlightening. It was enriching. And she said, as 3 black men, as 3 men, she kept popping on the 3 men and 3 black men. That it was good to see.
Yeah, it was still getting feedback from people about that series of conversations.
Yeah, and just like what I was saying before we started recording, apparently the weather in Tobago is like the greatest thing ever. So I'm going to have to change location mid-episode. So Ricardo, I'm going to be listening, but I'm also going to be running from the rain. So, yeah.
Yeah. All that is part of it, man. And listen, people don't understand, This is life. This is life. It don't always pan out or exactly how you plan. You make do with what you have. But yeah, I would also I will take this opportunity to extend greetings on behalf of Pleasant Tanku, Miss Dana Tanku. Right? She was part of the Warish Woman and Vibes concert this weekend.
It looked like Vibes Day.
But listen, I'm disappointed in myself that I couldn't go. But I have a good partner was in the audience. I could find out from him what his thoughts were. But it looked excellent, and based on what it is I know about them as a group, I'm pretty certain the patrons were well satisfied and entertained. So congratulations to Warish for Woman and Vibes. And also Dana extends her love and greetings and affection to the nation. And I guess she'll be back, so she asked Colette to give her please and thank you.
Yeah, she messaged me this morning when I messaged her to tell her congratulations on an excellent show. To tell me that she couldn't make it this week because she's tired.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the next thing. We also have to accept and acknowledge when we are tired and not be ashamed to say it.
Mm-hmm. That is our winning point.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also reflected in our inability to ask for help, huh?
Well, yeah, that's another thing that we have to really work on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are so good at acknowledging that we need help, and we're set to asking for it when we realize that. We rather stop and take a break and try again than to ask somebody to help us. So, yeah, don't let your pride stand in the way of your progress.
Ego, boy. Ego is the downfall of many a human being.
I hear you on that. So, what's the deal with this Tobago thing now? I know while it's still in the NT of TNT, we mightn't want to hyper criticize, but in terms of experience thus far, how has it been? Because remember, Tobago is part of Trinidad and Tobago, and we can't be 868 without the whole 868. So
yeah,
let me give Tobago, let me hang we hat on Tobago this week.
Firstly, I must commend Caribbean Airlines. I heard that the flight services were excellently orchestrated this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I've been here since Wednesday. My flight was actually a couple early. Right. One thing I would say when getting here, the car rental companies, when they have the pickup at the airport,
mm-hmm.
they need to properly identify themselves.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Because because I stood outside the airport for 40 minutes waiting on my shuttle to my car, and the shuttle passed me 3 times.
Right.
So much so that the wrong people went in the shuttle.
Yeah. Had a little experience with a rental when I went to Tobago a couple months ago. Is interesting stuff, and Tobago time. We know about island time, but Tobago special with the tea in Tobago is not for on time.
But checking at the hotel, smooth process. Checking at my villa, smooth process. Everything perfect. If the telly something in Tobago finishing 6 o'clock, leave home 6 o'clock.
Because it didn't start yet.
It didn't start yet. Right? Also, the weather in Tobago, if we thought the weather in Trinidad is unpredictable, the proof that I had to change location mid-episode also tells you how unpredictable the weather is, because you all saw how hot the sun was.
Mm-hmm.
So far more for... No. I don't want to turn the camera.
Yeah. Right? Don't worry. We got a little glimpse when you were coming inside.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. For those that would ask, the Tomac Music Festival, it's a shame that for something that was honoring our own, a lot of the shows had to be converted to free shows.
Lack of ticket sales.
Lack of ticket sales, yeah. And they wanted the individuals to attend. So it's a shame that when we honoring somebody as great as Lord Nelson, it ended up being a free show. For the concert that I'm sure everybody around the world knows about.
Right, Muddy Puddles.
What?
No, I'm listening.
I heard you. Storm Show. Here now. One thing I must say. To the patrons that braved the rain, to stay to see Burna Boy perform. Well done, guys. I was going home. only two artists could get me to stay in that rain.
Sure, no interest on who?
Now, Bruno Mars, two international acts.
Yeah.
Bruno Mars and Alicia Keys. I would have braved that rain for.
All right.
Persons until Burna Boy hit the stage at 12. Sans lightning. Right, Cardo, it had some lightning. One lightning in particular cut off the power for the entire venue, I think,
Wow. Yeah, the footage, and yes, there was some ridicule because people stand up in this white rain, right? Bucket are drop, what looked like ankle deep in mud, right? Listen, it was mid calf, yeah.
Depending on your height.
Fair enough. And one of the, I admittedly, I know I wasn't standing up in that catch the cold rain for a concert, but then again, I didn't spend the money on the tickets and I didn't travel to go for that particular experience, etc. So it was easy for me to sit down and be like, boy, them had to be mad. But I do want to acknowledge that we can't sit here every week and talk about the need to diversify and to develop the culture and to develop the tourism. And then when we're doing things in that direction, we are hypercritical of it and non-supportive. Right? So I want to extend my apologies from a little gip myself. At the end of the day, for those who took the chance on bringing such a big artist to a new festival, right, they would have been the guinea pigs with the logistics. They would have been the guinea pigs with the what works from what doesn't work, etc. And even the premise of, well, if I break even, I'll go be all right. There were a lot of people who would have had to take losses just to give us a foundation upon which to build.
Yeah.
So it had no gip. It had no gip in that. I tip my hat and I acknowledge that there was a lot of sacrifice.
Yeah. To the organizers of TOMAC, which is the Tobago Arts and Music Festival, and Culture Festival, sorry.
Music, arts and culture or something,
Music, arts and culture. Kudos to you all for taking that risk. However, I think we should have more nights with more local artists headlining. Right? On to the other festivities. I made it to the pan close to the end on Friday. Hey, them Tobago band show off, boy.
Yeah.
Them Tobago band show off. And again, a lot of young arrangers. So kudos to Pan Trinbago. And I can't wait for Panorama next year. It's another Golden Jubilee celebration. And hopefully you will see Kenny and I on your TV screens next year. Hopefully, if you carry on.
Yeah, nice, man. That's what I was saying. When last week went to Tobago?
You need to ask Kenny that.
All right, nice. Well, you can ask him because you're still on vacation. So
no, I don't want to talk to him until Friday. No, because actually I'm not going to be on this Friday. There's a show Friday during my time.
Okay. Nice one.
Right. So the Juve in Crown Point needs to move from Crown Point. And with this one, I must tip my hat to the TTPS or the TPS, the Tobago Police Service.
Yeah, right.
They ensured a safe Juve. They ensured that. Every 5 minutes, there was either police on foot passing or a vehicle passing.
Right.
But with that being said, you can't expect on a dual carriageway road. Right? And when I say dual carriageway, if you know, like let's say in how wide our road is, boy. The bypass in Marabella between the roundabout and Crave Corner. Yeah. You see how wide that road is? That is the road we're dealing with.
Okay.
And it has no pavement spillover. So you have to say the patrons could even go on the pavement. You had to choke up like sardines in a can when the police passing.
Right.
So I think the Juve needs to go to Scarborough, where the mass was yesterday, where there's a wider causeway, a wider roadway, that there'll be easy traversion of patrons, trucks, and emergency vehicles if they need be.
Okay. So what you tell them is Calichuran and Republic and them might go next year to lend the experience to developing the festival.
Well, I know this year Caesar's Army was the road team charged with that responsibility. So I'm not too sure if the organizers of Tobago Carnival will reach out to other committees to assist as well. I do hope that they do, because I know that they are insisting on presenting their own product. But they also, sometimes in presenting their own product, you could have your style and your vision that you want, but sometimes you need to go out to those persons who have executed it before for assistance to know what to's and what not to's in this situation.
Agreed. A little mentorship, a little experience goes a long way in terms of avoiding some of the mistakes of the learning curve.
But that also goes back to something we spoke about some time ago, which was asking for help. You had to know when to ask for help.
Yeah.
Because the TPS knew they had to ask for help, so the TTPS as a whole was here.
Right.
If you understand where I'm coming from with that, guys.
Yeah, you never managed that level of road mass before, so you ask yourself, you get some consultation, even if you want to call it help, call it consultation.
Exactly.
Right? So they would have dealt with the guys who would have been responsible for managing road mass and that. And again, it's important to engage the community, because wanting to do it yourself, I tired hearing people saying that they're going to work for themselves or they're going to open their own business because they can't handle dealing with people. You are never going to deal with more people than when you're working for yourself. When you're working for yourself, you're self-employed, you're starting a business, etc. You don't have one boss, you don't have one supervisor. Every week, every client, every customer,
you have a new one.
Is a new one. Right? So we have to be able to engage community.
Right.
Speaking of community, I know we give Tobago plenty love and thing too, but there are other things that have been going on around us.
But before we leave Tobago, right? This is something to my colleagues in the entertainment industry, specifically the DJs. When there's a carnival, right? We already talked on the start of the year when we spoke with Kenny about the 5 weeks and souls mentality. Carnival is the one time for the year where we play soca exclusively. To the DJs that feel they need to change it up, and that is enough soca for now. You see the place in the kitchen where there's put garbage?
Right.
For that weekend, please put the dance all there. Or put it in the fridge in a container that you could take back out after.
You don't have to throw it away.
Don't throw it away.
But put it away.
Let kusume.
Right. Like
there
stay
is
loud.
no need. Yeah, the old pilau is really tastes better than the freshly cooked one. Anyhow, you know, allow me pilau, right?
You into big one, you ain't get pilau?
Right now, I ain't even eat a dumpling and stewed fish.
Anyway, we could talk about what you have been eating.
Right?
Yeah.
Put the dance all there and leave it there, please. There's no need for that kind of thing. Yes, we know Young Brother is a local artist. Yes, we know Temper is a local artist. But there's had a place in the other 9 months of the year.
All right.
Let we soca, let we culture, let it kaiso, let that play for that weekend. I hear a man play David Rudder Madness this weekend. And the crowd went mad.
All right.
And with that being said, I want to give a special shout out to my brethren Elon. He had a great show on Sunday night called the Papi Show. He was not at his best. He had the cold. He was fighting a throat infection, I think it was.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was, but still gave off his best. So shout outs to Elon. He's a South boy from Pleasantville. Well done, Elon.
Hey, big up you.
Hey, look at you with the young people saying.
Yeah, well, yeah, I remember too. I was old when I was younger, so that means the longer I live is the younger I get in.
All right, Benjamin.
Yeah, way around, bay. I'll be honest with you. This past couple weeks, it real hard to read our papers and to go through the news, bay. It has been real hard to read the papers and go through the news. As refreshing as it is to be able to take a breather and a deep breath, it has some things that still going on that make you resign yourself to return into, as you say earlier, reality now.
Yeah, boy.
Right? The criminals are brazen. Right? The drivers are reckless. The commenters and the opiners seem to have very little regard for things like context or fact.
What is context?
Well, that thing that does apparently waste people space and time now, because once you get the soundbite you're looking for or the byline you're looking for, people taking that and running with it.
Like, I want to jump on something that
I listen.
that's trending right now, which is between some artists and some flack between some artists.
Oh, okay.
A voice note, one probably 3-second voice bite. I wish every threatened Tobago bus.
Right.
But nobody took the time to listen to what his entire, I'll call it a rant, was. And I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of that, but I'm just saying, 1 3-second voice bite or voice note or sound drop does not denote or give the keynotes to an entire hour-long conversation.
But what about a contractor who thinks that a certain type of journalists have a hard time understanding grammar though?
This brings me back to something that is a pet peeve of mine. And it comes, like, when you look at the Parliament channel, even better, and more particularly presentation of the budget, the vernacular which is voiced by our leaders is one which is disengaged from the population. I don't think a lot of us understand the budget, really. Right? So if it stems from the head, where they don't talk in a language that we understand, or a contractor coming to tell you that, oh, let me go better, a mechanic telling you that the carburetor is defibrillating. That actually is not a real thing. I just say.
Right. You tap it, knock in.
Yeah, but they're using language which is unbeknownst to the listener. The communication process is now skewed.
Yeah. But I not talking about a lack of understanding, you know. I talking about a man who has decided that there's a particular ethnicity of journalists that don't understand English language now. However, it has also been claimed that he never said it, so we'll see when pre-action protocol letters and defamation action takes place, who telling the truth and who fabricating.
Very true.
Yeah. Good times, man.
Speaking of papers, I want to shout out the Newsday for putting out an article asking if persons in the entertainment industry think that music denoting violence, drugs, illicit activities, and other things like that should be banned in Trinidad and Tobago. And it's something that Brittany would have asked when she came on for the first time when addressing the violence, and in subsequent conversations which we would have had. And for me, if you could check out the article, I don't know, Ricardo, if you could drop a QR code to the article or a link for it somewhere on the screen right now.
All right, you could get that.
Both Mr. Phillips, that's Kenny Phillips, and I were interviewed on that article. And while I do understand that there are artists that make a living off of that kind of music, I also think that it's too brazen now. The creativity in the lyrics, because as I said, we always say, Ricardo, that music around a while.
Yeah, it has been. Don't let nobody fool you.
Don't let nobody fool you. If anybody tell you different, well, clearly you're living under a rock. Right? Not black rock, another rock.
Right.
But
well done.
yeah, thank you. But make sure, guys, if you want to sing that kind of thing, be creative with it. Don't come and tell me move my hand from here to here. Walk me through a journey.
Oh, so
Like
you're saying
how
this?
Entourage was.
Oh, okay. You mean put some curtains on the thing then, you know?
Yeah. It took me about probably 20 years to realize what Sparrow was singing about in Soulfish.
Right. I hear you.
But I'm being serious.
5 o'clock in the morning.
Boy.
Anyway, so all I saying is when Zandoli sing about Oman police come searching, we knew what he was talking about, and at the time it was probably considered crass, or it did tongue in cheek in other places, right? But times have changed. I could understand that tongue in cheek might not necessarily be what it was back then. However, I think as Ras was talking about is not all you don't have to come out to the whole biological breakdown. You know what I mean? There's still a way that you could put something, and I'm saying it frankly, there's a way to put something sexually that it doesn't have to be explicit. It don't have to be explicit.
It don't have to be raunchy.
It doesn't have to be raunchy. It could be suggestive without being crass, right? It could even be descriptive without being undignified. You understand? Challenge yourself to not just say the thing, but as I say, to put some curtains on it now. Anyway, maybe I should write a song.
You should. Go by Kenny and record it.
You feel like all that buff? You feel like all that, Alex? Can you want to buff me for talking right now? What you think you could do for singing?
Yeah, but man, the front, you know. Man,
Aaron, I think I should cue you. To use your P word.
Really? Is that time already so quick?
Yeah, just about. I think we have maybe a 5 or 10, maybe, if so much left.
Time really flies when you're having fun, boy.
Time flies when you're dodging rain.
Well, that too. But before I get back and use that P word, I must bring back as we kickstart Men's Health Month, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I really just always say it, and people feel as me joking, but my football coach, as I say, and I go and be with it. Fitness is not just physical. Yes, working out is important, but you also need to be spiritually fit. There's no joke about it or no farce about it that we start our shows with a prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Because welcoming God into your life or to your space at any time, at any given time is very important. Having God present. Where 2 or 3 are present, He is there with us. Right? Having God there as a part of your life, by whichever name you call Him, is very important. Right? Financially fit. As men, we sometimes take finances for granted and say, well, boy, that will fix itself. Having a proper financial plan from a young age is very important. And I think one of these shows that we could do this month, as Men's Health Month, is have a financial advisor in with us.
Mm-hmm.
To talk to us as men, how important it is for 1, plan for life as a whole, and 2, plan for generational wealth to leave something for your kids if you want to have children.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I talk about physical, emotional fitness. We always talk about mental health inside the living room. Mental health is very important. When I tell it, I think that's actually more important than physical health. Because if you are not right mentally, sometimes you will not find the motivation to go and work out. Because depression is real. sometimes you feel so down, you just want to go and lie down all evening. Know about yourself and be self-aware, guys. Because
I will tell you, sorry, but I emphasize the point. I realized that I was not running on 100 psychologically, emotionally in the last, maybe say 7 to 10 days, because I took 2 naps. Like during the afternoon, just stop and, I don't feel like doing today anymore. And gone in my bed. And that not my scene. Right? That's when I was like, wait, I taken a nap mid-evening just because? Nah, something off. Something off. So to quote JL Valdez, our upstairs resident in the living room, your mental and your physical health inextricably linked.
Yeah.
So anyway, sorry, I just wanted to emphasize that you had to be aware of how your psychological might express itself physically too.
Because I could be as transparent with you. What made me know that I needed a break was, I think it was a Tuesday afternoon. I got home from work and normally I was going to sweat on a Tuesday. And I just lie down in my bed. And when I catch myself, it was 11 o'clock at night.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, all right, cool. And next thing I know, I blink twice. It's 7 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And that's for me. That's how I know that. Yeah, you need a little time for yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
Just asking that we be mindful. A little self-awareness could go a long way. But don't be so self-aware that you're self-centered.
Yeah.
Still be mindful of your community and how your actions impact others.
To quote one of my favorite lines from one of my favorite rappers, in his days when I could have tolerated him as an artist, there's a thin line between arrogance and confidence. Toe the line, but never cross it.
Yeah. Well, I habitual line crossers.
If you don't know who that is, bye.
Why you had to be like that, man? Why you had to be like that? I have no clue what it would be like to be under that level of public and international scrutiny. Anyway.
Right. But as indicated, we are getting perilously close to the hour of 7 p.m. Here in Trinidad and Tobago. I have one more night of vacations. I plan to enjoy it. Must say happy birthday to my brethren, Marcus, as we closing off. All right. So no show for me on Friday. I'll be back on next Tuesday inside the living room, and then the following Friday. For my friends and them, don't call me this weekend, please. I don't want to go anywhere. Leave me alone.
Noted.
Leave me alone, please.
Noted.
Unless I have some football game to watch, I could take on watching football. But don't call me to line, please. I'm good.
All right. I'm going to include, as you mentioned, I'm going to put a QR code up so that people could scan, they could pause the TV or the laptop or whatever and scan to see the article. But you could also include the links in the description. And Willie also sent a link for some health information regarding vitamins that you could take regarding reducing prostate swelling and that type of thing. So you could put that in the description as well.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
But that description we're talking about is on the YouTube channel, DJ Aaron 868. Check that across, or you could, when you go on YouTube, just search the living room.
Yeah. But I like to search living room 868, but that's just me. Yeah.
Right. So guys, as I always end, love is the currency. Spend some today. Let somebody know that you love them. Right? And it's Men's Health Month. Let your brothers, let your father, your partners, let them know that you love them and you appreciate them. And if you have difficulty saying the words "I love you," say "I appreciate you."
Yeah, work your way up.
And because a lot of men have a problem, they say, "Oh, that is yeah, you know now." I can't say that on air.
Yeah, them fellas had to do a little
Yes,
searching and to find out
one
why.
introspection.
Yeah, why uncomfortable.
That's the same thing we're saying. Male affection is very important.
Hmm.
If you can't love yourself, you can't love your family, you can't love your father, how you going to show love to a woman?
I ain't like the eye contact you're making with the camera right now, Aaron. Anyway,
What do?
this is Ricardo Mitchell, the babyface sage, until my goatee grow back. Reminding you guys that the hourglass is opaque. We don't know how much time remains, so whatever you're doing, be good and stay safe. Alright, so we have Mr. Desmond with the big band up next.
Yeah, I think so. He was in Tobago Sunday, you know?
Alright, nice man. Ole knock a glass and take a little drink?
No.
Ole in cross paths.
No, we didn't cross paths. He was in Tupo show and I was in Mass.
Alright, nice man. So the team represented, man.
Yeah, some of us.
Alright, nice.
Next year, all of us need to be there.
Yeah, correct is right. Can't have more Ole in Miami than in Tobago. How that looking?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Keep it locked.